Hey folks, Coach Alex here. So today I've got a really fun, kind of interesting question. Basically, help my training sessions are too long. So if I was to reframe that as a question, like, it's how do I sort my training out? So what I've got down here is a message from one of my email subscribers, one of my readers. I'm going to read this one out to you, and I'm going to sort of get to the crux of how I'm going to help them out. Just before I do, if you've not sort of come to this channel before, if you've not read any of my online content, then I'm Alex. I'm a professional strength and conditioning coach. I've been doing this for about a decade. I'm also an assistant lecturer at the University of Hull, where I'm also completing a PhD. I'm a tutor educator for British weightlifting. So all of which is to say, I've been in the gym for a long time. This is kind of what I do. So hopefully you can kind of trust that the information I give you isn't complete horse crap, right? Anyway, let's jump into it. Let's jump into the message. So, the message is titled Strength and Conditioning Programming, Too Busy. Let's see. So, hey Alex, I'm trying to build some sessions. I've tackled RFD and SSC, so rate of force development and stretch shorten cycle, high velocity lifts and overall strength. I need a few other things, but could you review this for me? The big issue I'm having is that I warm up before and stretch afterwards. The lifting part alone takes me something like 2 hours. So with the warm up and stretching, each session is taking 2.5 hours. Oof, big oof, okay? And then they run me through the individual session. Now, the nuts and bolts of this session are that they have lots of plyometric supersets at the start. They have some speed lifts like sled pushes, push press, power clean. Then they have strength work afterwards, bench press, squat, trap bar deadlift, overhead press, some weighted pull-ups. This is one session, right? So I'm going to jump into this and I'm going to give you the answer that I provided to them. And I'm going to, hopefully this person's watching, and I can jump into some detail about how you might go about approaching this a little bit better, right? So when your session becomes too long, first off, let's start first principles. You don't want your sessions to be 2.5 hours long if it's a strength and power session, okay? Strength and power is your ability to produce maximal forces or to produce submaximal forces very quickly, okay? You cannot do that if there's too much fatigue in the system. It's just not possible. So if your sessions go on for too long, the quality of that session is going to go down significantly. Your nervous system's going to get tired. You're not actually going to be training the qualities that you want to train anymore. So I really like to say, if you're doing a strength and power session, I like about 90 minutes as a cap. In an ideal world, sort of around the 60-minute mark, 60 to 75 minutes, I think is kind of bang on. And that's including your warm-up. You don't want these sessions to be humongous, guys, or girls. You don't want this to be a really long, drawn-out training process. It's better to have more sessions per week than to have humongous 2.5-hour sessions. So we need to sort this. If your session is too long, what are your options, right? Well, it usually comes down to, and in this case it comes down to, people thinking that they need to do too much. So this chap here, he's got all these things that he thinks that he needs to include, and he might be absolutely right that these are things that might be part of his sport that he does want to train over the long term, but that doesn't mean that you need to include them in every single session, right? Let's say that you want to train strength, and you need to train rate of force development and your power work, and you need to do some endurance training, and you need to do some, some speed training or whatever, right? You don't need to put every single one of them into the same session. You can divide those up across your training week. So if you've got 4 sessions in a training week, make 1 or 2 of them your strength, make maybe another session a power session, and then make another session your endurance session. Divide those up. If you're really busy, if you're doing say you've got a really busy training structure, you've got 10, 11 sessions a week, try to intelligently divide them up so that you do little bits of focus in each one. If I was to jump back into this, some of the exercises perform really similar or overlapping functions. So let's have a look. So here he's got things like speed lift, something like a push press for multiple sets, or a power clean. Well, if you're just wanting to develop some power, you could just pick either of those and that would be completely fine for the day. If you are just wanting, and let's say you've got some strength work, maybe you're wanting to do some strength, what you could do, you don't need to do bench press and overhead press the same day because they train fairly similar muscle groups, right? Your anterior delts are going to get hugely worked in overhead press and in bench press. So if you just did bench press that day, you would be totally fine. You could then do overhead press on a completely different day, right? Same as squats and trap bar deadlift. Squats, very quad dominant. trap bar deadlift, bit of glutes, bit of hamstrings, but also quite a lot of quads. You could just pick one and then do the other movement on a different day. What that would do is it would introduce a bit more variation across your week, which is good from an injury prevention perspective. It's good from a training adaptation perspective. And it's good from a making your session shorter and not being ridiculous perspective, right? So the best thing you can do if your sessions are getting too long, you have to start prioritizing. You have to start thinking about what your actual goals are and what you're trying to build that time. So you don't have to do everything in some session. You can divide those out across different sessions. Another approach you can take is periodization, right? Let's say you've got 3 things you want to develop. You want to develop strength, power, and endurance. Well, okay, you start with endurance training, do maybe a 4-week training block, and then you move more onto like strength, and then you move more onto power, and you just put the other qualities to maintenance levels of training whilst you focus on one quality. Totally a way to do it. That keeps your workouts way shorter, keeps them way more focused, and allows you to actually deliver enough quality training to make progress. Otherwise, you're just gonna find yourself spending hours and hours and hours in the gym, not really getting anywhere. And this is something that I do see quite a lot. Like it's like, you know you need to do more, or you know you need to improve, so it feels natural to do more. But it's kind of one of those misnomers you get into. So keep your session short, think about prioritization, reduce the amount you're gonna do, and then if you have a big session, look at the work, see if there's anything that can be trimmed down, and see if it can be spread out over 2 sessions to enhance the quality. That's basically it for today. If you found this useful, then by all means share it around with any friends, any other athletes, someone that you think is going to benefit from this. Share it with your friend that's in the gym for 3.5 hours, eating gummy bears, trying to stay alive. Just share it around, get people doing good, quicker, more effective workouts. Beyond that, if you want anything like one-to-one coaching, you actually want to work with me to work on your athletic performance, to get some strength and conditioning support, then you can contact me on my website, characterstrength.co.uk, or look for a link down below. If you are maybe struggling for budget, which some people are at the minute, like totally fine, you could do something like custom programming, where I just write you a program for a few weeks and then you follow that. Far more affordable, but gives you some good structure to follow. And look, honestly, if you don't like any of that or don't like the sounds of any of that, if like you're completely skinned, guys, just ask me questions. Drop questions in the comments below. Drop me an email, alex@characterstrength.co.uk, and I will get back to you. It might not be immediately, it might not be in the next couple of days, but if you give me a week or so, I'll make sure that I get back and I answer your question. The reason it might not be immediate is because I am busy, right? I'm coaching, I'm teaching, I'm trying to do my PhD. I have to focus my time on the people that are paying me for my time, right? But when I do get some free time, I will make sure that I answer your question. And if it's interesting enough, if I think it's something that's gonna benefit a lot of people, then I'll make a video just like this one where I jump into some real detail about it. I'll also try and make like a matching article to go alongside it with tables, sets, reps, infographics, things that can really enhance it, that you can sort of use as visuals to help out. So yeah, that's it for today. Plenty of options, plenty of ideas, and that's pretty much it. I will see you in the next one, okay? See you there.